Not many answers in the questions raised to the Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheatle about the failures that she admits happened in the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump just over a week ago in Pennsylvania. Welcome back, Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell to America's Talking Network as we wake you up each and every weekday morning with stories that you need to know about what's going on in and around Illinois. So obviously, the assassination attempt on Donald Trump's life, not successful. He had a grazed ear. And a lot of people pointing to, some kind of miracle that happened, miracle by millimeters, that the former president wasn't shot and killed, but still a lot of questions. And yesterday they had nearly a 5-hour hearing with the House Oversight Committee trying to get answers. And there was a bipartisan call for Cheatle to resign. And during that hearing, you heard from Republicans trying to get answers to specific questions about the timeline of when they saw somebody that was suspicious, how that individual was allowed to get on a roof, why this sloped roof was even a factor as something that kept people away from protecting that area, and even questions about why the Secret Service took so long to get Trump off that stage. In that time, you saw the iconic photo of Trump with his fist in the air, blood on his face, mouthing the words "fight, fight, fight." So the questions were heavy yesterday. Practically everybody from both sides was extremely critical of the director. In the various Q&A that I watched throughout the day yesterday, Republicans were looking for accountability. Democrats were looking for accountability as well, but some pointed to the AR-15 being a popular rifle, and some saying that they need to be banned. There needs to be an assault weapons ban, they say. Clearly interesting to hear some of those arguments while they're trying to get information on the assassination attempt and where the security failures came leading up to and during, and Cheatle referring a lot of questions to the FBI and multiple investigations that are ongoing. But ultimately, she did say she takes responsibility, but she refused to step down. I did want to air for you in its entirety Illinois Congressman Krishnamoorthi from the Chicago suburbs. He's on the House Oversight Committee, and he spent time in his 5 minutes asking Cheatle questions, but also pointing to the bipartisan opposition of political violence and trying to eradicate that anywhere possible. Here's Congressman Krishnamoorthi from Illinois.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Ranking Member, for bringing us together this morning. One question I get asked a lot from my constituents is, what can Congress actually do to stop this from happening again? And I'd like to share a graphic from a very recent study conducted by Professor Robert Pape, a world-renowned expert in combating political violence. The graphic shows that 74% of Americans want this Congress to come together to denounce political violence of all stripes, and you can tell it's across party lines. I commend the Chair and Ranking Member for putting out the statement the other day condemning political violence, and to further this effort, I'd like to ask all my colleagues to join Dr. Brad Wenstrup and me in introducing a resolution that we think can secure unanimous House passage in deploring and condemning political violence, and we will be circulating that resolution shortly. Director Cheatle, as you know, the shooter began shooting at 6:11 p.m. Eastern on July 13th. NBC reported that at 5:51 p.m., 20 minutes before the shooting began, the state police informed the Secret Service of their concern. Now, the rally was not paused at that point, correct?
No.
And according to NBC, just 2 minutes later, at 5:53 p.m., the Secret Service notified its snipers about the gunman. The rally wasn't paused at that point either, correct?
No.
Let me show you some video footage by rally goers. If you could play the video on the screen up here. This was taken 2 minutes before the shooting started. If you could turn up the volume.
Dangerous people. Criminals. We have criminals. We have drug dealers. We have people that
right here, right on the roof.
It's much tougher
He's
than
up now.
it happens.
You went right on the
Up here.
Ma'am, that doesn't look like suspicious behavior. That looks like threatening behavior to me. And the rally wasn't paused at that point either, correct?
I can tell you, as I stated earlier, sir, that the moment that the shift surrounding the president were aware of an actual threat.
That's a threat right there. The guy's on the roof and everybody's yelling at him.
Yes.
And directing the officer's attention to him. The rally was not paused at that point, correct?
We are currently still combing through communications and when communications were passed.
Well, I can point you to this communication. It's 2 minutes before the shots started ringing out. Director Cheatle, yes or no? Was there ever a moment where the Secret Service actually considered pausing the rally?
The Secret Service would have paused the rally had they known or been
So the
told
answer is
there
no.
was an actual threat.
The answer is no. Correct?
I can speak to you in generalities.
No, I don't want
I don't
generalities. I
know
want
all of the
specifics.
communications
The
that were-
answer is no. You did not consider pausing the rally, correct?
The people that are in charge of protecting the president on that day would never bring the former president out if there was a threat that had been identified.
Well, they did, because we've now identified 3 points in the 20 minutes before the shooting that the threat emerged. Let me point you to something else, which is the building that the shooter was perched on, seen here. This building is called the AGR building. I'm sure that you're familiar with it. It's no more than 150 yards from the stage where Donald Trump stood, yet the security perimeter was drawn such that the AGR building was placed outside of it. Director Cheatle, according to the Washington Post, the AR-15 styled rifle used in the shooting had a range of 400 to 600 yards, and therefore the AGR building was clearly within rifle range of the stage, correct?
Yes.
NBC News has reported that in the days before the rally, the Secret Service had identified the building as a vulnerability that required special attention, correct?
That's reporting from NBC.
Yes.
So I am still looking into an active investigation.
I know, but it's been 9 days. I mean, you should know that, right? And yet, despite the fact that the AGR building was in rifle range of the stage and it was flagged as a vulnerability, this building was put outside of the Secret Service's security perimeter. And I respectfully submit the Secret Service must expand its security perimeter to account for the kinds of weapons that can be used outside the perimeter to endanger the protectees inside the perimeter, ma'am. Let me turn your attention to some conspiracy theories that have been circulating and ask you to comment on them. First, you have not found evidence that the incident was a staged shooting, right?
Correct.
And you haven't found evidence that this was a result of a conspiracy of high-ranking government officials, correct?
Correct.
And you have not found evidence that this incident was in fact directed or perpetrated by a foreign state or entity, right?
And that's the last question, but I'll let the director answer that, please.
Not at this time.
Thank you. I yield back.
Again, that's
Gentleman's time's expired. Chair now recognizes
Rajna Krishnamoorthi from the Chicago suburbs on the House Oversight Committee yesterday, asking some pointed questions, and obviously a lot of other questions. You had Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican. She asked if there was a stand-down order from the Secret Service during this event. You had others pointing to the lack of transparency of the Secret Service, not even holding a news conference to explain and answer questions, and that leading to even one congressman yesterday said, are you aware that there are national news talking heads saying that this wasn't a shooting, that it was glass that hit Trump's ear? So how do you explain the lack of transparency in feeding those types of conspiracy theories? So clearly a lot more needs to come out of this, but even U.S. Senator Dick Durbin telling reporters in the Chicago Tribune reporting this, that he's calling for Cheatle to resign as well. But not just that, you had the House also put together a resolution. Here's Nancy Mace, who made a lot of headlines, essentially saying that Cheatle was full of excrement. But here she is introducing a motion to impeach the the sitting director of the Secret Service in the House floor action from yesterday.
The form of this resolution is as follows. Impeaching Kimberly A. Cheatle, Director of the United States Secret Service, for high crimes and misdemeanors. Resolved that Kimberly A. Cheatle, Director of the United States Secret Service, is impeached for high crimes and misdemeanors, and that the following article of impeachment be exhibited to the United States Senate. Article of impeachment exhibited by the House of Representatives of the United States of America in the name of itself and of the people of the United States of America against Kimberly A. Cheatle, Director of the United States Secret Service, in maintenance and support of its impeachment against her for high crimes and misdemeanors.
So, motion made to impeach Cheatle. Even some people saying that she needs to be charged with perjury for allegedly lying to Congress. So a lot more is going to come from this story, and something I think you heard, of course, the Oversight Committee yesterday. You've got a task force that House Speaker Johnson and even Congressman Darren LaHood have said they need to start. So we'll clearly hear a lot more about all of this. It is Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Thank you for taking time each and every weekday morning, waking up with us, and being part of the program. If you're with us live in the chat room, you can join dozens of others every morning discussing these issues and more. But be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell for segments, news clips, the podcast. Search out Illinois in Focus Daily, and it's right here each and every weekday morning with the Center Square and America's Talking Network on YouTube.